What's up, everybody? It's Nicky Trades back with another video. I hope everybody had an awesome day. Today I wanted to discuss FOMC right? Today was FOMC day. Happens once every couple of months. There's 8 FOMC meetings per year. I wanted to start out with a little bit of education on FOMC. The FOMC is the Federal Open Market Committee, as you can see here on the screen. And the Fed chair, his name is Jerome Powell. They determine monetary policy in the markets. And again, 8 meetings a year where they meet. There's about 12 members of the committee, and they meet to discuss again this monetary policy. And it's a big day for the stock market. Why is it a big day? Because they come out with their policy decisions, and when these policy decisions come out, especially recently over the last year and a half, obviously there's been a lot of rate hikes, right? So the market prepares for these rate hikes and what they are thinking they're going to decide. Today there was a 25 basis point rate hike, which was expected, and the market kind of reacted appropriately to that rate hike. We never really know what's going to happen. We just know that it's a very volatile day in the market, and today was no different. Also, the day before was also a very volatile day. We can see in the market here we have the last 2 days up here in the charts. This was yesterday. On Tuesday, we saw this huge sell-off in the market. I'm on the 5-minute chart right now, but you can see here that we have this big sell-off yesterday, and doesn't always happen the day before FOMC day. A lot of times the day before is very flat. There's not much movement, but sometimes we do get these big days beforehand where we get this huge sell-off. We can see here in the beginning of the day, we opened around 415, and we hit a low of 408. That's a massive move. That's a huge sell-off in the market. We did recover a little bit of that the second half of the day, but not too much, right? So going in today, we had a little dip, and then we came back up until the actual FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., they released their decision and the notes on their decisions for monetary policy. Obviously, that's when they come out with the 25-point base hike, and we can see here at 2 o'clock there's these huge, and let me zoom in a little bit further, there's these huge candles, right? These huge candles are just massive volatility in the market. Happens very quickly, happens on the minute time frame as well. So, some pro traders will get in here and they will try to catch the top and get in puts down here, ride this down, and then try to catch the bottom and enter in calls to try to get this move back up again, and vice versa. So it is a very once again volatile time. It's not for the beginner trader. It's really not even for the intermediate trader. Me being a beginner / intermediate, I try to stay away from these big moves and really wait at least 15 minutes till things settle down just a little bit so I can see if I can hop in a trade. I did end up taking 2 trades today. They both were green for me. I did have a good day of execution. Actually, on this first trade here, I waited till after Jerome Powell came out at 2:30. So once that decision is made at 2, Jerome comes out at 2:30 and basically reads a statement to the press, and then he answers questions from the press as well. So when he came out at 2:30, around 2:35, we got this big move down in this big wick down, and I can see here that this wick down really touched low of day. So I was looking for calls around low of day if the market or the volume supported that, right? It was tough to kind of monitor volume at this time because of this huge volatility in the market. But I wanted to try to hop in some calls here. This happened so quick, I wasn't even able to catch the bottom. I got this probably around up here, this 411 area, one of my key levels. So I did enter here, and I wrote it up to about 412, 18, around this next level here, close to high a day, and then I got out, right? So I jumped out there. When this came back up, top ticked here, you got the big up candle, or excuse me, the big top wick there, and then came back down. We now see that this closed below this level that I had put, which I believe is a pre-market high earlier in the day. And I wanted to take some puts here. So I did end up taking some puts, and I rode this back down a little bit towards the 411 and then jumped back out again. It's a very risky day to trade. Again, I would not recommend people to trade this unless are very experienced in the market. Myself, this was a risky day for myself. I typically don't do this, but I did see a setup that I liked and I did want to take. Luckily, it worked out for me. I tried to follow my trading plan. I will say that this was very, very emotional for me. Unlike a lot of other days where I've been working on my emotions, my patience is getting better. My heart was racing when I was in this trade. Not a good thing, obviously, but with this volatility, you're going to see these huge swings of red, huge swings of green, back to red, back to green very, very quickly, right, with this huge volatility. So my heart, as a newer trader, an intermediate trader, was definitely beating very fast. I was worried about that big, huge reversal to come back down and hit my stop. I did have a little bit of a larger stop loss because of these volatile swings. I wanted to give myself a little bit of room. That probably added to my emotion. Probably wasn't the smartest idea as well. So something I need to learn on and make sure I'm better prepared if I am going to trade FOMC days in the future. So, Powell, during his speech today, he did have some hawkish, meaning some bearish comments that he did make. And I think that the market reacted appropriately to that. Towards the end of the day here, we can see 3 o'clock. Once 3 o'clock hit, we did get this sell-off beginning, right? So we did see a pretty good sell-off for the remainder of the day. Let me zoom back out here and go towards the end of the day where we got this sell-off all the way until close. And we did close at 408, just about on the dot. So 408 is where this closed. I also always watch SPX as well. So if I go to SPX here, I always watch SPX or I should say ES in conjunction with SPY because they're obviously they're working together. They're very closely related, just on different scales. ES is going to be the futures, SPX the S&P 500. So we can see here that obviously this closed on SPX at this low mark here, at this pretty big level of support. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. It might be a more flat day tomorrow following these two huge days of volatility and movement. Also remember, when you are entering trades on days like this, the premiums are a lot higher, right? So the contracts are more expensive that you're buying into. When you have a small account, my account is around $300 to $400 right now. That's only allowing me to purchase one or two contracts at a time. My trading rules right now are telling me one contract at a time. Sometimes I will size up to two trades if I feel like I have an A+ setup, if the contracts are cheap enough. But I am I use that very, very sparingly because eventually I'll need to learn how to trim as I get into trades. So trim once I hit a certain price target when I'm in a trade, and then exit the rest when I hit that next price target. So I want to use some experience in that factor as well. And that's the same with entering a trade, starting a light position. A lot of pro traders or larger traders out there will start with a light position when it gets down to a supply zone or a demand zone. Up to a supply zone and down to into a demand zone. But when it gets down to the beginning of that demand zone, they'll enter a light position of calls, and then if it goes down a little bit further towards the price target that they want to see to really enter, that's when they'll get in the rest of their size and be full size before they look for that reversal to turn back up again. That way they can average down into their trade. They can make more profit eventually. But you have to be careful in making sure that you're setting the right stop losses just below that supply or demand zone to make sure that you're practicing proper risk management, but also making sure you're not going to be deep red if the trade doesn't go your way. Remember, the best traders in the world are really only trading at about a 75% win rate, right? So there's always going to be losing trades. It's important for us to understand that we are practicing proper risk management, that the risk reward ratio is there for us when we are entering a trade, meaning when we get into a trade, we want to make sure that we have proper movement, right? We have enough movement above or below to let that trade run so we can actually make a good amount of profit. Now, everybody has a different price target for their profits or certain levels that they want. That should be determined before you enter your trade, where you want this trade to go, excuse me, and where you want this to end up for before you exit that trade or before you trim that trade. So make sure that you're always having a trading plan. I always try to have a trading plan. Now, I'm still working on this as well, where I need to make sure that I know my exact profit targets before I enter the trade. Sometimes I realize them as soon as I enter the trade, not before. So it's probably an area that I need to work on as well. And I'm curious to know from anybody else out there. Feel free to comment on this video on where, how detailed of a trading plan do you have before you enter that trade that you're looking for. We also have to remember to practice those patience, right? Very, excuse me, very difficult to have patience, especially on a volatile day like today where things are rapidly moving up and down, right? Price action is moving very rapidly. So if it's coming down very, very fast to the price target that you want to enter at, you got to be ready to execute. I was ready to execute, and I still missed it because I was distracted for a fraction of a second, and I missed that entry that I wanted, and I missed probably, I'd say, 70 cents. I could have had a 70-cent lower entry if I was right on the money, right? So hotkeys help with that. If you are entering a contract, you can get in a little bit quicker. That's another thing that I'm going to look into. I'm probably going to start using hotkeys on my keyboard for buy and sell for these contracts. Just gives you a little bit more of an advantage when you are taking trades and exiting trades, right? We want to be as quick as possible. And typically, I also am entering a buying market and selling market as well. A lot of people will buy the ask or get in that way. It's personal preference, really. But each comes with their pros and cons. But for me, I'm typically buying market and selling because I'm in and out of trades so quickly. I want to make sure that I get in and capture that movement or as much of the movement as I possibly can before I miss that opportunity. If I wait too long, I will not enter because I've already missed part of that trade. So again, it's very quick decision making that you have to have. You have to be very disciplined with this. I'm still working on my discipline as a trader, as an intraday trader, as a scalper. So as scalpers, if any of you are scalpers out there, that discipline needs to be even more focused, right? You need to be on the ball every single millisecond because every single second counts when you're entering a trade and you're exiting a trade. So that's all I have for today. I just wanted to review the FOMC day with you. I hope everybody made a little bit of money in the market today. If you didn't, it's a great learning experience to sit back and really watch how things go. And you can start to see some patterns that may develop on FOMC days if you look back to a lot of the other ones. Again, the trading is an art, not a science, so you never know what you're going to expect with the market. That's why these AI things coming out will never be able to trade for you or anything like that, right? We want to make sure that we're doing our own education. We want to make sure that we are studying the market, reading the right material, reading the right books. I have some good book recommendations as well. I've only read one actually so far. I hate reading, but I'm trying to force myself because it's an important part of the education process. So again, I thank everybody for watching this video today. Please like and subscribe if you are interested in following my journey as a beginner/intermediate trader, and especially if you are in the same shoes as I am at this point in time in the learning process and the education process. We're all here to be successful together. I want to see everybody succeed. I want everybody to follow my journey and relate to my journey. I'm sure there's a lot of other traders out there where I'm at in my journey right now, just still in this learning process and trying to be consistently profitable, right? That's the goal. We want to create additional lines of income, and maybe this being the main line of income for us, where we can retire early, we can enjoy our time, enjoy our quality of life, maybe trade for the first hour of the day, right, 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning, and then we can go work on anything else we need to, spend time with our families, go on vacation, explore the world, right? That's what this is all about, is freedom, right? Financial freedom, quality of life, and breaking that chain of the 9 to 5 job, the 50-hour work week. We've all been there, those 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks. They're draining. It makes you not want to do anything. You try to make enough to support your family. We have inflation going on. It's hard to even pay your bills now, So devoting your time and your efforts to educate yourself on something that's going to make you money and help you with financial freedom, help you to improve your quality of life is invaluable, right? That's what it's all about. We want to enjoy our lives. We don't have a lot of time on this planet, right? So we want to make sure that we are making every minute count, right? So sorry to get all philosophical on you. Everybody have an awesome day, and I will talk to you all soon. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day.